Hello and welcome. Let's take a look at the top story we are tracking for you this broadcast. Russia's repeated military offensive on the Ukrainian port city of Mariupol has turned the city into rubble. All humanitarian ceasefire attempts have failed so far, with thousands still stuck in the Azovstal steel plant, the last military stronghold in the besieged city. In the latest, Ukraine has now denied reaching an agreement with Russia on evacuating civilians from the steel plant and has urged the UN to initiate the process of ceasefire. This came after Russia's defense ministry said on Monday that it would open a humanitarian corridor for civilians to leave the Azovstal steel plant. The Ukrainian deputy prime minister wrote on Telegram, saying that these ceasefire initiatives from Moscow's end are not reliable, as they have violated a number of humanitarian corridors before. During a special address on Monday, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky voiced concern about the deteriorating situation in Ukraine. While talking about the Russian Easter violence in Kharkiv and other regions, he said that he has spoken with Turkish President Erdogan on the situation in Mariupol and the need for urgent evacuation.
Провів важливу розмову з президентом Туреччини Ердоганом про ситуацію в Маріуполі та необхідність евакуації цивільних і поранених, про необхідність негайного обміну заблокованих українських військових.
The strategic port city of Mariupol has come under heavy Russian shelling since the very first week of the invasion. The emerging satellite images of the besieged city show the scale of destruction in the region. The discovery of mass graves has led to accusations that the Russians are trying to conceal the slaughter of civilians in the city. This is the scene of the worst humanitarian crisis in the 3-month-old war. An estimated 1,000 civilians are sheltered, along with about 2,000 Ukrainians who continue to remain trapped in the Azovstal steel plant, the last Ukrainian-held area in Mariupol. The Ukrainian Foreign Minister, Dmytro Kuleba, meanwhile, has called the situation in Mariupol extremely concerning. While speaking during an Associated Press interview on Monday, Kuleba said that Russia chose war instead of talks, and this crisis will not come to an end unless Moscow comes to the negotiating table. He further reiterated Zelensky's position that any sort of military escalation in Mariupol would end the chances of negotiations with Moscow.
It's extremely difficult to see these pictures, to receive these messages. And this is why, yes, we sent a very clear message. If you want to kill those people or you want to take them as prisoners and humiliate, that will be it. That will be the red line. And the president has been very clear on that. But it's not enough to keep things as they are. It's really important to evacuate all of them, to save them. And this is what we are working on with our partners, and this is where Putin has to demonstrate his openness and make a step forward.
Kuleba also welcomed American support to his country, calling it a strong political message for Putin. Kuleba praised the visit by U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken and U.S. Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin to Kiev as a sign of solidarity amid the raging war.
Well, indeed, it was very important to see representatives of the country that did more than any other country in the world to help us visiting Kiev. This is really was a political message, but it was also an opportunity to sit down at the table and have a meaningful conversation. As long as Russian soldier puts a foot on Ukrainian soil, nothing is enough. And I want to be straight on it. We appreciate everything that has been done, including by the United States. We understand that for some, what has been done is already a revolution. But this is not enough as long as the war continues.
WION, now available in your country. Download the app now. Get all the news on the move.